Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Monday Midday Chair Yoga. And we are returning after our October break. So today we're not going to do like anything super intensive, but we are going to go through the whole body and just make sure that everything is moving and feeling as lubricated and as mobile as we would like it to. So let us begin by sitting just towards the front of your seat. You can support your feet on something if you'd like to, but sitting tall so that you're not relaxed into the back of the chair, resting your hands wherever they fall, maybe closing your eyes, or if you prefer, gazing gently downward. We want to allow the spine to organize itself upwards so the weight of the head is centered over the body. And then when you're ready, you can scan your body. So bring your awareness around your body to feel the areas that perhaps are making themselves known. So feeling sensations in the body, and those sensations might be of discomfort, or they might be tension or stiffness, soreness. Just noticing those sensations. And it's usually these ones that are a bit more vocal when we come to giving ourselves a quiet moment to listen to the body. But as you notice those areas, perhaps see if just a gentle attitude or intent to release and to soften can alleviate some of that tension or stiffness. And then everything else that we're working with today, we simply are making note of it so that throughout the practice we can work with compassion and kindness to the areas of the body that just need a little extra care and attention. Notice at least one part of the body that feels peaceful, spacious, quiet, and at ease. Allow that sense of ease to blossom from wherever it is, moving outward, touching other parts of the body and encouraging them also to quietness and ease. And when you're ready, you can move your awareness to your breath and gently deepen your breath. Feel the coolness of air coming in through the nostrils and the warmth of the breath as it leaves the body. We're looking for a slow, steady breath, but it doesn't need to be super slow, and it should be a breath that you feel ease or at ease breathing. So just perhaps lengthening your breath ever so slightly. And you can do this by focusing on filling the whole of the lungs. So we fill the base of the lungs first, move the breath into the torso, around the rib cage, and then up into the top of the chest. And as you exhale, it sometimes helps to engage the belly muscles, maybe even the pelvic floor gently, to exhale fully, to press a little bit more air out of the lungs. Then with a soft belly, breathing deeply into the sides of the body, the back, the chest. And breathing a long, slow breath out, engaging across those belly muscles, across the navel to exhale completely. Soft in the belly to breathe deeply in. And long and slow, engaging across the belly muscles to breathe out. Keep breathing in this way. As you breathe in, let the breath lift you tall, guiding your body to length upwards. As you breathe out, feel your facial features soften, your shoulders soften, just engaging through center. One more deep breath in. And see if you can feel that sense of length even after you've exhaled. And perhaps you feel that your body is taller and more prepared for our practice now. When you're ready, you can bring the palms together at the center of your chest, lifting your chest and taking your chin gently downwards. Give yourself a soft smile. And in your own time, raising your head, releasing your hands, opening your eyes. Awesome stuff. Now, it's lovely to start our practice with some deep breathing. It's often the first intentional breathing that we've done in the day, and it charges our bodies with oxygenation, but also with a sense of vitality. It really helps us to use the structures that encourage good breath. So we enhance the structures that help our respiratory system. And we're full of prana, the energy of life as a result. So hopefully you're feeling that way. I have here with me a small block, but I'm just going to use this not as a way we normally use blocks, but to pass it around the body. So you could be using a cushion or a book or a red squashy ball or whatever you would like. It's helpful if it's a little bit of distance between one hand and the other. More narrow has a different feel to it, but it doesn't matter. We're going to use that a little bit later on. But for now, I'm just going to pop this block out of the way. We're going to place our feet on the floor and sit nice and tall and start with some shoulder rolls. You don't have to have your feet super wide apart. I like it, the sense of stability it gives me. So if that works for you as well, that's great. Let's roll the shoulders in the opposite direction as well. Very good. And then we're going to roll them one at a time. So rolling one back and then the other. You might like to move through your chest a little bit more, maybe get a sensation of twisting across your torso. And the opposite way as well. Rolling the shoulders forward, just one at a time. Very good. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, we're going to lengthen through the back of the neck, making sure the head is not protruding forward, but actually centered over the body. And make some simple movements, turning your head to the right, returning to the center, turning your head to the left. Let's try and coordinate this with the breath, inhaling in the center, exhaling as you turn to the right, inhaling to center, exhaling, turning to the left. Inhale to center, exhale, turning to the right. Inhale to center, exhale, turning to the left. We're going to do this one more time to each side, but holding as we turn to the right. And as you turn to the right, take your left hand and reach it back behind you. If you can, hold onto your chair back. If not, just let your fingertips extend. And then see if you can do a gentle little lift and lower of your chin. Really small movements up and down. It's only a tiny movement, maybe imperceptible. Once you've done a few movements up and down, just see if you've got a little sensation of more room to move into that twist at the same time as you draw your left shoulder back behind you using the chair. When you're ready, you can release the chair and turn your head back to center. Give your shoulders a little bit of a wriggle. Find that upright lift, the head centered over the body, and turn your chin to the left. Here again, we're holding as we breathe, reaching the right fingertips backwards, or if you can, holding onto your chair back or your chair seat. Use that to just ease the right shoulder back away from the position you're turning into. And then gently lift and lower your chin just a little bit up and down. It's centimeters rather than a whole movement, or as far as you can move. And then when you're ready, you can see if there's a little bit more room to turn into that twist, maybe drawing the right shoulder back slightly behind you. When you're ready to release, let go of your right arm, bring your head back to center, make any movements that feel good in your shoulders and your neck. When we work with the neck, it's important to work at a place that doesn't feel like any kind of strain at all. It might be just slightly outside where we normally move. It might feel gently lengthened, but we don't want to force or strain or strive with our movements here. Sitting tall again. Let's do simple side bending. Right ear to right shoulder, back to the center, left ear to left shoulder. And again, coordinating with breath, inhaling as we sit tall and exhaling as we bend to one side. Inhaling back to the center and exhaling to the left. Let's do one more to each side. Moving with the breath, inhaling and exhaling. This time, as we come back to center, we're going to move to the right and hold in that side bend. And this time, we're going to reach our left fingertips down towards the floor. If it feels like too much of a stretch to reach the fingertips down, simply replace your left hand on your thigh. But if you can, reaching the fingertips away from you, and it's almost like we're trying to reach the right ear towards the right shoulder, just a tiny bit more than it naturally finds itself without strain, just to access that gentle stretch. And then if you wish to, gentle lift and lower of the chin. Again, it's a small movement. It doesn't need to be very much. We're not going to try and move beyond here. But when you're ready, you can relax your left arm, bring your chin towards your chest, and from there come back to the center, making sure that your head is centered over the body, taking the left ear towards the left shoulder, reaching the right fingertips away if you need that extra movement and that extra sense of length. Just hanging here for a while, maybe it's enough. But if you wish to, you can gently lift and lower your chin just a little, like a really small amount. Feeling the connections, the sensations. When you're ready, you can place the right hand back on the right thigh and roll the chin towards the chest, and then come back up to center. Wriggle the shoulders. Notice, I usually finish this practice with a little bit of tension across the shoulders because I've been holding on there. So see if you can release and let go, and hopefully you're able to do it without putting as much tension into the shoulders. Fingers crossed. So we're going to again come to center, finding that lift, and then draw the chin towards the chest. We're not forcing it down, it's just wherever it naturally goes. Here, if you want to, you can gently wriggle the bottom jaw from side to side. Just a nice sort of loosening practice. And then as you come back upright, take the bottom teeth over the top teeth and lift the chin up. And then we're going to roll back to center, relax the mouth, relax the jaws back to where they ought to be, roll all the way down. Take a deep breath in and out here. And when you're ready, rolling back to an upright position, bottom teeth over top teeth, lifting your chin up. And then returning to center. And as you do, softening the shoulders, making any movements that feel good with the head, the neck, the chest, the upper back, the arms if you really want to. I'm going to bring my feet a little bit closer together, and we're just going to roll through the shoulders, but this time we're going to see if we can make some movement with the arms as well. So the arms are staying bent, so it's a little bit less effort for the shoulder muscles that stabilize, but we're making these big circles. And when you're ready, you can go in the opposite direction as well. See if you can get the elbows behind the body. Out to the side is great, but if they go behind the body, it just opens the chest a little bit more. And remember, your neck doesn't need to be rigid. You can move your head naturally in a way that feels like it's in a coordination with the movement of the arms and the shoulders. Maybe one more in this direction. And then allowing the arms to rest down by the sides. We'll do a little bit of side bending, so just gently easing to one side and then the other. Try pressing your feet into the floor and finding stability through the hips and the legs that way, so that you can begin to move in the torso in a way that feels supported. A little bit of lift in the belly muscles, and if you want to, again, with the elbows gently bent, you can lift the arms a little bit so you get a bit more reach through the sides of the body, a bit more space between the sides of the body and the arms themselves. Very good. So we're doing one more to the left and coming back to the center, relaxing the arms down, just giving the shoulders a little bit of a wiggle. And then we'll bring the hands forward in front of the body, just reaching the fingertips away, chin to chest, and then reaching the arms wide. Maybe the arms come back slightly to open the chest. So reaching all the way forward, rounding through the spine, scooping the belly in, chin to chest. Reaching all the way back, allow your pelvis to tilt if that feels good. Opening the chest, lifting your chin if that feels good. Rounding as we scoop the belly in. We can keep the belly muscles active and the feet active, pressing into the floor as we open the chest. Let's do one more. Rounding and opening. And then we're going to come back to a centered seat. Float the arms down to your sides. Give your shoulders a little bit of a wriggle. And for our final bit of seated practice for the upper body anyway, we're going to bring the palms together at the center of the chest. And then think about lengthening the torso. So we want to, instead of hunching forward, we want the shoulders to be stacked on top of the hips and the head to be stacked on top of the shoulders. Press your palms together so you've got active arms. You're not just here hanging out. They're actively pressing towards you. You might feel the engagement of your chest muscles and your arm muscles, and then pressing the feet into the floor and activating the belly muscles. We're going to gently turn to the right. You might not go far, it's absolutely fine. And then come back to the center and then turn to the left. And return to center. Keep the palms pressing together all of the time. Keep that sense of lift in the back of the body and in the belly muscles. Let's do one more to each side. Gentle turn and return. Gentle turn and return. And relax the arms down. Again, a little wiggle. I'm just going to move my chair ever so slightly this way, so it's easier to see as we come into our next bit of practice. So taking the awareness away from the upper body, but we can still sit nice and tall. We're going to take the awareness into our feet and wriggle the toes around. And here, if it's comfortable, you can roll to the inside edge of the foot and the outside edge of the foot. So rolling across the ball of the foot, in and out, and then see if you can do it without moving your knees. So you're just moving in the ankles and the feet without moving the knees in and out at the same time. It's quite a different kind of practice. You have to use different kind of muscles. Excellent. And then resting the feet in the center, let's lift the heels up and lower the heels, and then lift the toes up. So again, trying to sit tall throughout, heels up and down, toes up and down, heels up and down, toes up and down. And then when we've done one more, we're going to swap sides. So lifting the right toes and the left heel, and then swapping to the opposite side, right heel, left toes up. So it doesn't matter which side you start at, opposite foot has the opposite part of the foot off the floor, if that makes any sense at all. Very good. Super. And then we're going to do these a little bit more quickly. So see if once you've got the coordination, you can go a little bit quicker. If not, stick with slower, steadier movements, even if you have to look at your feet and lean slightly forward, just to make sure that you've got one heel up, one toe up, and then changing sides. Doesn't matter how quickly or slowly you do it, but once you're used to the coordination, you can do it a bit more quickly. Just seeing if you can do it and sit tall at the same time. And then we're going to let the feet rest, slide ourselves back into the chair so the feet are free of the floor, and give the ankles a little wriggle. And this is a lovely practice to do if you happen to be sitting in the evening. You can easily make the toes and heels lift. You can free your feet from the floor, do a little bit of ankle turning as well. And then just letting the toes come back down to the floor as we bend the knees, and lengthening the heels away, drawing the toes back towards the body. Feel the front of the legs switch on. So we're bending the feet, bending the knees, sorry, to bring the toes to the floor. Even if you can, taking them underneath your chair, so you point your toes backwards a little bit, and then swinging the legs forward, extending through the heels, firming up those muscles in the legs. And we can also do this as we sit back into the seat, but activate our belly muscles. So backwards and forwards, maybe a few times, just feeling some of those supportive muscles switching on, feeling a little bit of strengthening there. Let's do one more. Excellent. So we are now going to bring ourselves forward again on our seat and do a little bit of our sit to stand. So these are excellent practices for maintaining that ability to easily get up and down from a chair, or regaining it, or regaining some of the strength needed for it. If you're at the point where you need a little bit of support, that's okay. We can get back our strength, just need to practice. So you want to have enough of your buttocks on the seat so you can feel confident where the seat's going to be as you sit down. Want the feet to be underneath the knees, so not further ahead and not further behind, but underneath the knees. And we want to activate the feet, so give a little paddle of the heels and the toes and the balls of the feet into the floor, so you feel that connection with the feet into the floor first. Nice lift through the belly, looking forward. We're going to reach the hands forward, take the weight onto the feet, and just float the bottom off the seat, and then float it back down, releasing the arms down. You can use this swing of the arms for a bit of momentum, or you can simply reach your arms forward and move shift your weight forward and back. We want to be as graceful as possible. So we're really using the strength of the legs one more time to come into this gentle squat and release back. So when we've done a few of those, you begin to feel the legs powering up, ready for taking us all the way up to standing, which is what we're going to do now. So nice and firm in the belly. We're going to reach the hands forward, float first, and then extend through the legs, really pushing into the feet to do that. Opening the arms wide as we come all the way up to standing. You might even let your hips come forward a little bit, just keeping nice firmness in the belly there as you do, and then back the way, reaching the hands forward. At the same time, we reach the tailbone backwards and gently kiss the buttocks down to the seat, or as gently as possible. And don't be worried if you need to look a few times before you get used to it. It's not a problem at all. We want to feel that we're confident enough to reach forward and float, hold this position if we need to, and then press through the legs to stand all the way tall, opening, maybe the hips coming forward ever so slightly, and then reaching the opposite way and down. If you're concerned about your chair moving, just set it up so it's against another piece of furniture that's heavy or against a wall, and then the chair will always be there. It's not going to move out of the way. We'll do one more like this. Floating forward, standing all the way tall, and then coming all the way back down, reaching forward as we bring the buttocks down and relax the arms. So we're going to do this practice now with the feet slightly staggered. So if this practice that we've done with the feet side by side was the perfect level of challenge for you, you can keep going with this, or you might need to might like to just rest out of a few of these extra ones. You might find where you're at. We build strength gradually. So we are going to, for those who would like to, step the left foot slightly forward and the right foot slightly back. You don't need to bring the feet closer together if you don't want to. Just feel that they're slightly staggered. And they don't need to be super staggered. That won't be helpful. Quite close together still, quite almost close to parallel, but not quite. And here again, we want to make sure we've got enough of our seats on the seat, for our bottoms on the seat, and we're reaching forward to stand float onto our legs, and then sitting back down again. Just do 3 of these on this side. Very good. And 1 standing all the way up. So coming up and then standing all the way tall. And then going the opposite way, nice and firm in the belly and the buttocks as much as possible, releasing the hands down. Looking at your feet, just stepping the right foot back and the left foot, right foot forward and the left foot back. We're doing the same on the other side. So slightly staggered is a little bit more challenging, but it's also quite useful, and it's often how we actually perform in life. So we very rarely do things exactly side by side in real life. So this is a bit more of what we call a functional movement. Nice and firm in the belly, reaching forward to just float the buttocks up and down. You'll notice one leg has to work harder than the other. Reaching forward and releasing down. One more time like this. Floating and releasing. And then standing all the way up. And we're going to go all the way up and down and then do one more, I promise. So reaching forward to float, standing all the way tall, opening the arms, and then coming back the way buttocks go backwards as hands go forward, nice and firm in the belly to sit down. We're going to put our feet side by side and then do 1 all the way up to standing with the feet parallel again. So firm in the belly, reaching forward, standing tall, floating your arms down. We are now standing. All good. So just note how that feels in your legs. Also, it's interesting, just for your own your own information, if you like, to understand which leg is stronger than the other. It may be both legs are strong. That's all good. Let's take the block or the device that we've got ready, pop it to one side, and give ourselves a little catty chakrasana. So we've done quite a lot of work with the legs. We're going to start with a little bit of hip circling, so we can ease out any extra effort. We'll circle in the other direction as well, which is quite nice. Always nice to do hip circles. And then when you're ready, a little softness in the knees, a lift from center to the crown of the head, and gently twisting from side to side. And here we're not really looking to do anything in particular. It's not about how far you twist. It is about how loose you can make your shoulders, wrists and elbows, fingers and hands. So allowing them to wrap around the body and tap the body. And you might find that you need to keep your hips more still and move more from the upper body if it's better for your knees that way. you might be quite happy for your hips just to slightly follow the movement of your chest and shoulders. Whenever you're ready, you can pivot on your toes if you'd like to, just allowing that knee and hip to follow slightly, a little bit looser across the pelvis, and then add a soft bend in the knees. Nice little dip and twist, or bounce and twist. You can touch the opposite shoulder in front of you and the opposite hip or rib cage behind you. That feels like a destination that would help your hands and fingers. When you're ready, you can lose the bounce, simply pivot, and then bring your feet to steadiness and sway back to center, losing your momentum a little at a time until you're back to standing steady, where we're going to organize ourselves tall, drop the weight of the fingertips towards the floor, close the eyes or gaze gently downwards, just for a few moments to feel the effect of your practice so far. Very good. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. We're going to use our block that we had ready, and we can do this. You could do this practice sitting down if you would like to, absolutely no problem at all. But whenever we have the excuse to stand up, it's nice to be able to stand up and use the space around us, and give ourselves the opportunity to move in a way that we don't normally move. So I'm going to start with my feet parallel, but a little bit wider apart, maybe shoulder width apart. You can turn your feet out if that suits you better, not a problem at all. What we want to do here is to soften the knees ever so slightly. So from the side, haven't got the knees locked back, we've just got a little bit of softness. It encourages the muscles to work. And if your legs get tired, simply straighten them a little and then bend them again. So here we've got the weight dropping into the center of the foot. You can play a little bit with your weight forwards and backwards and side to side. Hold on to a chair if you need to for support while you do that until you come to center. And then we're going to take the block in front of us or the cushion or the ball and pass it in the left hand around the body to pass into the opposite hand and bring it around to the front of the body. So we're just passing around the body. We're doing this quite low, so as long as your arms can be down, and we're passing the brick or the block or the cushion on its widest setting. So we want to start with wide, just going around. And then for those who feel that they can do it more narrow, then you can see if there's an orientation for your object that allows you to do this with the arms meeting a bit closer together behind the body and in front of the body. That's all we're doing. Very nice. Hopefully you can feel a nice opening across the chest as the arms go back behind the body. And we're going to swap, move the brick into its wider orientation and go in the opposite direction. So it makes quite a difference. It's sometimes easier to coordinate in one direction or the other, keeping the knees just a little soft and keeping the body stacked above the hips. When you've done a few on the wide setting, if you would like to, you can try turning the block into its narrower setting or your object so that you can get the arms a little bit closer together in front of the body and behind the body. Let's do 3 more circuits. Lovely. I can't remember now. I said 3 and didn't count, so I'm doing 1 more. Okie dokie. So when you're ready, you can either put the block down or rest it somewhere, or just hold it in your hands. Give your shoulders a few rolls and notice if that feels good. It's quite nice for the arms to do something strengthening and lengthening, but it's just all about movement. Motion is lotion. Now, this next one is the same principle, but the block goes over the head. And I realize that I have now set my camera up, so it's very difficult for me to get that on screen. So I'm going to sit down to do this. You can do it standing up or sitting down, it doesn't matter. So we're going to start with the block in front of us. We're going to reach it up over the head and try to get the arms as high above the head as possible. In front is fine if that's where shoulders go to, but with your object on its widest setting, as high up as you can, and you can bring it down in between your feet. So if you were doing the standing, you could do it with your feet a little bit wider apart, and as you come down, you could bend your knees a little bit to grab hold of the block. I will have to demonstrate. I've changed everything on my camera today, so I'll have to demonstrate sitting down. Excuse me. So keeping the block on or object on its widest setting, we're going to change and go in the opposite direction. Lovely. Nice lift of the arms to the sides of the body. Lift to the sides of the body. Very good. Let's do 2 more in this direction after this one. Super. Very good. And releasing the arms down. Place your block down if you'd like to. If your feet have been apart, you can bring them back closer together. You can roll through the shoulders, make any movements that feel good with your body. Now, we're going to stick with our blocks, but we're going to try and do a little bit of side bending here. So if you feel that you might need the support of something, please excuse me, just a tickle. So if you feel that you might need the support of something, you can use a chair. I'm so sorry. That just has caught me. Give me a second. So apologies for the brief interlude, but if you need the support of a chair, it can be here. We can take the feet nice and wide as part as feels comfortable, but pointing vaguely straight. So out to the side is okay, but it depends on your hips. So just taking a stance with your feet that feels good. And we're going to soften the knees a little bit. You can do it sitting down just as well as standing up. Taking the block up to wherever feels good for you, and then doing a little side bending. So here, of course, if you would like, you can bring the support of the chair and just go to one side at a time. But if you're comfortable, which I know that Helen is, then you can go to either side. So bringing the block up, a little softness in the knees and lift in the belly muscles, holding your block wherever feels comfortable. It could be directly over the head, it could be in front of the body. If you're able to, you can lengthen your arms as you go to the side. And you might just get a little extra sense of length down the side of the body. It requires a little bit of extra effort. The closer to you the block is, the less challenging it is. Let's do one more to the left. And then we're going to release this block down, just lengthen the legs. And here we'll turn the toes in and then the heels in, toes in, heels in, toes together. All good. So let's put our block down on the floor, out of the way so it's not going to cause any problems. And we'll do a little gentle forward fold with our chairs. So for this one, you can start with your feet quite close to the chair and walk away. And when you are slightly stooped forwards, you can bend your knees, lengthen your tailbone back, and bring your torso a little lower down. So we're more focused on keeping the knees over the ankles, but allowing the hips to go backwards, lengthening through the torso. If you need a bit more space, you can give yourself a bit more space. If it feels good to do it with the feet a bit wider, you can too. Feel that gentle lift in the belly muscles, Press into the chair with your arms. Make your arms active. Keep your neck nice and free so you can turn the head in any direction. And then with your knees bent, if you'd like to, you can wiggle your hips from side to side. Very good. And then when you're ready, look towards your chair as you walk yourself back into your seat to stand upright. And from here, we're going to do a little warrior pose. So we're going to start quite close to the seat and step the left foot back. The left foot will probably angle out to the side. What we want to avoid doing is stepping the left foot behind the right foot. So we still want them hip width apart. As you bend your front knee, just pressing the weight into your feet and allowing your hips to fall wherever they naturally do. Keep your right hand on your chair, and we're just going to make a nice big circle around the body with the left arm. Allow your head to follow that movement if that feels good to your neck, or you can keep your head more centered if you prefer. Here we're trying to bend into that front knee, but let the weight be taken across both feet. And as you go back this time, you can reach your left arm down, keeping hold of the chair to open across your chest, and then come back to the center, swing the left arm forward. Step forward onto both feet, and we'll do the opposite side straight away. So we're stepping back with the right foot, making sure the feet are still hip width apart. Right foot will be angled slightly out, bending the left knee, but making sure the weight is even between both feet and that we feel that centered lift. And then making nice big circles around the body with the right hand, letting the head follow the chest if that feels good. If not, keeping it more centered, that's absolutely okay. Just opening across the body. And then we're going to reach that right arm down as we keep hold of the chair but open the chest. So we're lengthening the right arm down to open the chest, still nice and firm in the feet. And then coming back to the center, stepping forward onto both feet, marching in place just for a moment. And we're going to finish with a wide-legged forward bend. So lovely work with our twisting and lengthening. I'm going to take the feet back and then as wide apart as feels comfortable. So if you want to, you can go wider still than I am. And we're still thinking about bending the knees a little bit and lengthening the tailbone back. If you've got a ladder chair like me, then you can put your hands a little bit lower down if you want to. You can work as low as feels comfortable, or you can stay higher up. Just do what feels right for your body. Nice and firm in the belly, lengthening the tailbone backwards, pressing into the hands so that the arms are active and lengthened and strong, making sure your head is free so the neck is able to move. Taking a deep breath in and out. And then we're gently going to lift ourselves a little bit up and then gently walk the feet in and come a little bit further forward. There's one more thing I'd like to do. So if you could step back from your chair a whole pace, this time I want you to step back a half pace and take the feet nice and wide again. And here we're going to stay a little bit more upright, but bend one knee and then the other. So we're transferring the weight from one side to the other. If that doesn't feel good, it's okay to just move a little or rest out of this completely. Just simply standing with the legs wide is quite useful. Pressing the feet into the floor, imagine drawing them towards each other. But if you're able to bend into one knee and then the other, you can start upright and then see if you can stick your bottom out like we did in the previous exercise, still hanging onto the chair, but just moving from one side to the other. Going slower to give yourself an opportunity to feel the length down the inside of your leg. Very good. Let's do one more to each side. And then we're going to come back to the center, stand nice and tall, just giving the hips a little bit of a push forward. And then if you can, heels in, toes in, heels in, toes in, heels in, toes in. And we are finished our upright, standing up practice for today. So apologies for the slight coughing fit. It seems to have gone now, fingers crossed. We will now come to doing our relaxation. So putting on a warm layer, if you would like a warm layer. I'm going to pop on my jumper today because it is definitely a little bit cooler these days. And you might also like a blanket to hand so that you're ready for relaxation. That there. And then coming to sitting down again. So here we can finish with a little spinal twist. Now, you might do this just simply with your feet and knees together, or you might cross the left ankle over the right ankle, or you might cross the left thigh over the right thigh. We're not holding for very long. This sort of crossed leg is perfectly acceptable for short periods of time. Wherever you are, sit tall. Lift from your center, take your right hand to the outside of your left leg and your left hand behind you to your chair seat or chair back. And we are going to press into the right foot and gently turn to the left. Take a moment to squeeze the thighs towards each other. And then see if you can gently ease your shoulders round just a little bit more. Breathe nice, long, deep breaths. When you're ready to release, turn to the front with only your head, and then release the hands and unwind gently to center. And then we're going to uncross the legs if they've been crossed and simply have them side by side. When working to the other side, you can do exactly the same thing, simply pressing the knees and ankles and thighs towards each other, or crossing the right ankle over the left ankle, or crossing the right thigh over the left thigh. Doesn't matter which variation you choose, do something that works for your body. We're going to sit really tall. Take the left hand to the right thigh or outside of the right leg, the right hand behind us to the chair back or chair seat, and then press into the left leg, press into the left foot, sit really tall and twist to the right. Squeeze the thighs or knees towards each other. Breathe deep breaths. Maybe see if you've got a tiny touch more room for your shoulders or head to move if that feels good. Think about drawing your shoulders down to give your neck space to rotate. And when you're ready to release, you can turn to the front with just your head. Release your hands, unwind your spine a little to the opposite side, back to the center, uncrossing the legs. Taking a few moments to roll through the shoulders. And we can finish with a forward fold. So taking, excuse me, your seat a little bit further back, feet to the floor, and then starting by sitting upright, folding forward. Excuse me, chin to chest. Just breathing for a few moments here. When you're ready to come up, hands can come to the tops of the knees or the tops of the thighs. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other. Look forward, lift in the belly as you come upright again. Release the arms down to your side. Roll your shoulders, make any wriggles that you need to wriggle, and then wrapping yourself up for relaxation proper. Excuse me. I'm really hoping that my voice will last to the end of relaxation. So once you're nice and cozy, settling right back into your seat, closing your eyes, rest your hands wherever they feel most comfy themselves. Take a deep breath in and sigh gently out through your mouth. Repeat 3 more times. A deep breath in, and as you exhale, feel your body beginning to relax. Deep breath in. Allow your muscles to let go of the effort of practice. A last deep breath in, and surrender your weight back and down. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm and fall into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead, feel it soften. Feel the area around your eyes relaxing. Your mouth, tongue, and jaw releasing. Allow the whole of your body to feel heavy, warm, supported, softening back and down. Move your awareness to your breath. Become aware of the rhythm of your breath, the pattern of your breath. Observe the qualities in deepness of your breath. Observe the sensations of your breath. Particularly the sensation of the breath moving in the body. Which parts of your body move as you breathe? When you feel ready, you can deepen your breath. As you exhale, softening the shoulders, the face, the abdomen. Breathing deeply in, filling the lungs, expanding the chest, the rib cage, lifting the shoulders. Exhaling as you soften. Inhaling as you fill and expand into the space around you. Allow your breath to move in this rhythm whenever you're aware of it. Relaxing a little deeper with every exhalation. Gently bring your awareness back to your physical body. Feel yourself sitting on the chair and notice your hands and your feet beginning to move your fingers and your toes, maybe rolling wrists and ankles. When you feel ready, you can take a deep breath in and stretch the body in any way that feels good. Maybe gently leaning to one side, maybe yawning, gently leaning to the other. If you feel so inclined, you can gather yourself in towards center. And when you're ready, place your palms together at the center of your chest. We'll take our chins gently towards our chest, just feeling like this is a good conclusion to our practice. We're focusing on mostly today the low body in terms of strength and the upper body in terms of openness and spaciousness. So hopefully feeling strong yet spacious, giving yourself a gentle smile. When you're ready, raising your head and opening your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. Apologies for the croaky throat halfway through, and I hope to see you next week. Namaste.